Hey, hi. So I am here with one of my previous one-on-one clients, and we're going to be talking about her transformation, working together, and what's happened since we've worked together. She has an amazing story about meeting her dream guy. So thanks for being here. I
Thank you
asked
for.
Yeah. I asked you to do this interview because I think the women in my audience will really relate to where you were and what you were struggling with and your experiences with men, like up until we worked together. And I think there's a lot of hope in hearing your story about where you are now and all of the things that have changed in your life since then. So thank you. I'd love to start by just having you introduce yourself. So if you could tell us a little bit about you, like where you're from, how old you are, what you do.
Sure. So I am 42 right now, and I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a financial manager of like rates and forecasting here at a local company in Austin. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks. So I want to start with kind of like where you were in your life and dating and relationships before joining my one-on-one coaching. So like kind of what was going on for you? What were your challenges before coming into coaching?
Just, I couldn't meet anybody that I really had a connection with, or if I did, it was usually people that didn't live in this country. So obviously that wouldn't work out. And I just felt like I was constantly hitting a wall with like dating, like it just wouldn't work out for me, and I had had relationships in the past, but they weren't ideal relationships, and obviously like they didn't work out. But then I had been through this stretch of time in my life. I think it was like since 2016, just single, would go on dates. I'm a very social, introverted person. It's not like I was sitting at home. I would put myself out there. I would go out to places. I traveled, but it's just I couldn't meet anybody, or maybe I was just not meeting the right type of guy for me. So that's kind of my dating life. I was doing online dating. I would try to, if I met somebody, organically, I would try that as well. But just things were not working out for
Yeah.
me.
So, and I know you had also tried some other things before hiring me too. Like, what were some of the other things that you had tried?
Okay, so I'm a pretty self-aware person. So I would, read different books, study up on like different like, ways to date, smart ways to date. I even did like another coaching program, but that coaching program, I just think it was not the right fit for me. So I felt like it did a little bit more damage to me. And it's not to say that that coach was bad. I'm not like trying to talk badly about them. It may be that it just wasn't the right fit for me. So I think I kind of came off of that just feeling that there was a bunch of stuff wrong with me, and like I was the cause of like everything, going wrong. So it kind of made me even just like more hyper vigilant in dating. I would like overthink things. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I say? What did I do? So it's like constant second guessing yourself, and you just can't relax, right? And I would be so hard on myself and say, gosh, like, well, what are you doing that, it's your fault that you can't meet anybody. And, just this really like inner, like harsh critic that I had going on that I really needed to kind of say goodbye to. And also just I feel like sometimes our experiences, like if you have like one or two bad experiences, then you might have like some wounding from that. And then let's say if something else happens, it kind of reinforces like the thought or the story that you made up about yourself that wasn't true to begin with. So I felt like because I kept having experiences that wouldn't work out, or, maybe I would meet the, guys that were not right for me, or if I was mistreated, I would always, have a way to like turn it back on myself, so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I kind of got to the point where I had trouble even like voicing my needs like in a relationship. So it's just a lot of stuff had like piled on. And then finally I came across your work, and I felt like I deeply resonated with everything that you were saying. So I felt like it was a match. And then, once I started your program, it just felt really good. Everything else that you did as far as just like helping me, just you reminded me who I am to my core. And that's like, I'm lovable, I'm worthy, and to never doubt myself. And it really, like, our work together really helped build my self-worth, because I felt like that had taken a toll. And, as I mentioned to you before privately, at the tail end of our coaching, I interviewed for a new job and I got it. Like, so I got a promotion too. So I feel like this work not only helped me in my relationship side of things, but also in my professional life too. So it kind of all works and comes together. So that was another huge positive thing that came out of that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, to hear a little bit more about kind of the journey of working together. What changed for you during the course of our coaching and then of course at the end?
I think what really helped me was just doing the parts work that, we would do. Like, there would be different circumstances or scenarios that I would come to you with. And, you took me through the healing steps of that. And I think it's just kind of like reiterating that and, constantly reminding me and just showing me that there is nothing wrong with me. Then I know that you had shown me different like soothing techniques, like meditation, different like, various ways that of self-soothing that you taught me to just kind of like get myself out of that like super activated energy. And so that was like super helpful as well,
Yeah.
what we did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what changed for you, like internally? How did you start feeling different or seeing yourself different? And like what started to change in terms of your interactions, especially with men?
Yeah, I think that what would happen is that when I would be in situations where I would previously get activated and triggered, that no longer would happen. And I would get so excited because I would keep track of it because, I'd come like report back like, hey, this is what happened or this situation happened. And I'm telling you, it wasn't even just with guys. It was like in my family relationships, like things that would happen that would previously just trigger me so much. I would just feel like it was just neutral, right? I wouldn't get activated as much. So that was like a sign of growth. And that just showed me that the work that we were doing was truly healing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So it sounds like self-worth and just knowing your worth, feeling good about yourself, feeling confident, feeling worthy, that
Yeah,
changed.
all those things.
Emotional regulation, the ability to kind of navigate triggers and self-soothe and not have the kinds of responses you might have had to things that people said or did, that
Yeah.
changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then what changed with men? Because I kind of remember towards the end of coaching some massive things that
Yeah.
started to change.
I just realized like, you kind of like take ownership, right? First, it's like there's the healing aspect of it, right? So you just have to heal the maybe residual wounds that, and all of us have like wounding and it never ends, right? But I think just healing that, right? So you're not as like activated, but then also taking like the practical advice that you gave to just, and also the mindset stuff. I remember I had to work on my mindset because I was just all about I was super negative. I'm like, oh, I just felt like I was going to be alone for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And felt like, oh gosh, like, it's just never going to work out for me. But just really, changing that. And I will say to, people that are listening to this, sometimes it's hard when you're in the thick of things and you feel like nothing is changing. But I would say to like look for expanders. And what I mean by that is people that are maybe like your age, for example, like I could be expander for somebody
Mhm.
in their hasn't met anybody, and then you read stories about them, or you just kind of like look for people that have had the things that you want happen, in their lives, and that's just seeing that it's possible for somebody else helps plant the seed in your own head to know that okay, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. And there's I think Joe Dispenza says this. He's like, don't think that you're just so special, it's not going to happen to you. And it makes sense. It's like, why can these things happen for everybody but not for you? So it's just kind of like looking for the positive like pieces of evidence, like, oh, it can happen for so and so, it happened for this person. And again, I'm 42. I always thought, oh my gosh, like my chances of having a baby will like go down significantly. But you know what? I ended up getting pregnant naturally. So so it's just like, I really hope this serves as an example of what's possible and to not like give up hope. And then just with dating, I know you asked me like what changed with dating.
Yeah.
You helped me with like just kind of ways to voice like my needs. Cause just I remember one thing that I still practice right now is like, you know, pose it as like a request. Like, would it be possible to do this instead of like, oh my God, you need to do this for me. And it works. It really does. So just kind of taking that practical advice. I know you helped me kind of like revamp my the dating sites and my profile and my pictures. So I did that.
So I know we did revamp your dating profile. We did a lot around communication. And I kind of remember, correct me if I'm wrong, after we revamped your dating profile, you had more dates than you could go on, right? Like you were swamped with all these men
I did.
pretty much immediately, right?
Yeah, I did.
So I'd love to hear the story
Yeah.
of meeting your fiance, what
Yeah.
happened, how long after we coached together did it happen? And yeah, what's the story?
So I did remember if it was July or August of last year that we ended. And then I remember I went on a trip, to Europe, came back, started my new job. And then in January is when we met at the very end of January. I think we started talking on the app, and I think our first date was in February. But
Okay.
it just like 5 or 6 months after our coaching ended. But I will say though, the thing that was different that really stood out about him was that right off the bat, I felt very peaceful in his presence. And he told me that he felt the same way. I was just never activated. I had some like previous like abandonment wounds, but I never got triggered or activated by this person because he just was safe. We talked about from the beginning, like, what we wanted out of life. And we were just super aligned. He wanted a family, he wanted to get married,
Yeah.
wanted, and, just his family values, that everything was aligned. And it just felt very easy and comfortable with him. And he was sure, I had been on so many other dates where, people just didn't want to commit or they weren't sure, but he was sure, like right from the beginning. So that was just like a really big change. And he's so kind, so sweet.
So you went on your first date in February. You started talking in January.
Yes.
You got
Mm-hmm.
engaged. How
I
many
did.
months after dating? After meeting,
So
I mean.
how long? So that was maybe 6 months after, because because like in February, June, yeah, he proposed to me on his birthday, which was like,
On his
it
birthday.
was on his birthday he proposed to me. So,
Aw.
yeah, and he had this like really sweet thing prepared. He said the biggest gift you could give to me on my birthday is, becoming or my wife. So that was
Aw.
very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the ladies listening, she got engaged at 6 months and you're pregnant now?
Yeah, and that was not
Gosh.
an accident, because like we're not like married yet, but no, because we both really want to have kids.
Yeah,
So
and
we
you've
just
got some time, kind of pressure a little bit, so it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So we try, and it like happened very, quickly and naturally. And yeah, so we're gonna have a boy that's due early next year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
huge congratulations.
I
Oh,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. Well, how do you feel now? How does it feel being on the other side of terrible dating experiences and shitty relationships? Like, how do you feel?
Feels like a breath of fresh air. I feel like, this like weight is like lifted off of me. And it's like and also I remember when we worked together, we wrote like a list. I wrote a list of everything I wanted, and he really is all of those things.
He's
He
really
really is. Yeah, I actually showed him that list. I said, this is like, I think I said, I think I manifested you. And I said, look, these are all the things that I wrote, and like you are all of these things. So it was really awesome how that worked out.
yeah. Oh, that makes me so happy. How is it different being with him? I know you said, it's very peaceful and it was very easy and you were both very sure. Are there other things that are different just about the way he treats you or shows up for you than what you've experienced in the past?
Absolutely. This man, he's so masculine. Let me tell you, he will open my car door for me. When we get home, he's like, don't do anything. I will unload the groceries. He puts them in the fridge. He will draw a bath for me. Ladies, they're out there. I'm telling you, good men are out there. Just super, super. He takes such good care of me. He's so good with my family. Just he's a very protective guy. And it feels so nice to be taken care of like this.
Mhm. Yay, yay.
I would say, anybody who's thinking about joining your program. I mean, you're not only going to get the benefits of like the dating relationship, I'm telling you, it just kind of permeates through all different aspects of your life. Just like me, with my job promotion, even my, my relationships within like my family have like just vastly improved. So
work
it just,
upgrades, job promotions, improved family relationships, fiance, baby.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure there are women who are listening right now who are inspired and hopeful hearing this story. And I'm wondering what you might tell somebody who's thinking, oh, like maybe I should hire Elizabeth. Like, why would you recommend someone work with me? And like, what would you tell them about that decision?
Well, I would definitely recommend it because, personally, like I shared, I had a very positive experience. It was very supportive. And I'm telling you, like, I just felt supported by you through the entire experience. And I feel like you gave me exactly what it was that I needed, just kind of helping me navigate all that, residual wounding that I had in a very, very supportive way with like methods and techniques that I even like apply right now if I, because sometimes things still happen, right? And so just knowing how to like regulate yourself and like knowing how to communicate like in the best way, that all was so helpful to me.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone who's like, I'm scared, I've tried other things, because you were kind of in that place. Like, how did you kind of mentally decide?
I said, because I think I just told myself, this is my year. I said, this is the year. I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to give this gift to myself because it really is like you're gifting yourself with something. And I feel like it's such a step that, I think investing in yourself, it really is showing yourself that you're worth it. So I think just taking that action and actually like investing to do something positive for yourself, that is showing you that you're worth it. And it's like when we take actions, we prove to ourselves our own worth. So that's what I would say.
Mm,
Totally.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it is, right? We're valuing ourselves, we're valuing our mental health, we're valuing how we feel about ourselves, we're valuing our dreams, finding that partner. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Um, yeah, and thank you for being here and doing this interview and sharing your story. I'm hoping that it is helpful for everybody listening just to hear what is possible, that hope is not lost, that there are amazing men out there, and we just need to do a little bit of work to get there and to find those people and be healthy enough to choose them. So yeah, thank you for being here.